Jimmy Johnson says angrily of the Bill Belichick thing on Twitter, this is just wrong. Number 2 winning all time, more Super Bowls than anyone unimaginable, number of division championships, lots of small jealous voters. I would like to know the names of the assholes who did not vote for him. They are too cowardly to identify themselves. Please, if you did not vote for Bill Belichick, identify yourself. Many explanation points. Probably too much of a coward. Hide behind your secret ballot, and then secret ballot is capitalized. Is there anyone arguing the other side of this? Have you guys heard someone take the position? I understand why it is Bill Belichick is not in the Hall of Fame on the first ballot.
Look to your left.
Calls coming from inside the house.
Well, but Bill Polian is it's being reported that Bill Polian is the one with the bias here and also the integrity of saying, cheater, that's the reason. And it's the reason that I don't have my Baseball Hall of Fame vote. It's the reason that Greg Cody is so comfortable moralizing about this person's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but this person's not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Right.
Because it's not a museum, it's a home of morals.
Why didn't you finish the riddle? Cheater.
I don't know the
Pumpkin
rest of it.
eater.
Dan, Bill Polian used the cheater, pumpkin eater defense, please. What does he know, by the
Well,
way? What does Bill Polian know,
Well,
Dan?
he's a 6-time executive of the year,
I got lucky with Peyton Manning.
but 6-time executive of the year.
Yeah, but he did something more racist than you, and that's tough.
That's tough.
Wow.
Mike McDaniel has been here for 3 years as a mixed race man.
How is Bill Belichick doing something? How is Bill Polian doing something more racist than what I did?
Well,
With
the
the
Lamar
Lamar
should only
Jackson
be a
thing.
wide receiver.
Yeah,
Remember that?
I'll let Zaz cook. The people that are caping up for him not being a first ballot Hall of Famer universally are fans of other teams in the division. And I've seen the list of first ballot head coaches. They all appear worthy. If
Hear
Bill,
all the people better than Belichick. Hear
if
it.
Bill Belichick isn't what a first ballot head coach looks like, I don't know what the hell
done
we're
without
doing.
Brady. He's done without Brady. The loser before Brady, loser after Brady, a loser at UNC. You want to talk about coaching your way out of the Hall of Fame? See what happened at UNC? See what happened at the end of his time in New England?
Okay, let's go to some more credible sources on this subject that are slightly less biased than Dolphin fan Jonathan
it.
Zaslow. Okay, we gathered that you're enjoying Bill Belichick.
Committee got it right.
Did they? Okay, I don't think that many people believe that the committee got it right, but the parts that I want to parse with you guys is we obviously don't know football a fraction of the way that Bill Polian does. We cannot assess how the guards played in the game that we just watched over the weekend that decided everything. Nobody here understands, even after Ted Wells did that $5 million report, what it is that the Deflategate advantage would or wouldn't be. But clearly, Bill Polian thinks that it's what toppled Peyton Manning. Bill Polian thinks that whatever cheating that Bill Belichick did is enough to... I don't think this is just pettiness with rivalry. Do you? I'm assuming that he's not guilty of simply saying, I'm a small human being. I recognize that he's a Hall of Famer. I assume
First ballot.
that he is applying a moral standard to this. No cheaters in my Hall of Fame. Am I wrong to assume that he feels like he knows how much of an advantage the cheating gave Bill Belichick to therefore make him a Hall of Famer? Barry Bonds isn't in the Hall of Fame because everyone thinks he cheated. It's obvious that Barry Bonds is the best player to ever live, top 5 if you want to argue about it, statistically, even without the steroids. We've given the stat before. It's one of the most amazing in sports. If you take away all of the numbers from all of his MVP seasons, he still has 400 home runs and 400 stolen bases, and no other player has done that. He's not in the Hall of Fame because everyone thinks he cheated. And now Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer because blank. The point is Bill Polian wants to make this moment, Bill Belichick in the Hall of Fame, about the cheating, correct?
Well, hold on a second. Polian is flat out denying
Correct.
his involvement.
Yes.
Like this story came out that Polian is the one who's kind of leading the charge that he should be punished because of Spygate. And then you had several reporters who got a hold of Polian last night, and Polian is saying it's flat out false. But then also you're getting this where Polian added he could not remember with 100% certainty if he voted for
Yes.
Belichick. How do you not remember?
How do you not
remember?
He said he was
remember?
95% sure.
How do you not remember?
He couldn't remember what he voted Andrew Jones. I mean, what are we doing here?
Yeah, 6 years ago.
But he's denying it. He's denying that he was part of it.
This is petty BS. Yes. It's
Yes.
people with an axe to grind. Like, okay, I understand the Super Bowl tape that was burned in a fireplace of the alleged recorded practice and Deflategate. Deflategate. Remember when Bill Belichick had that press conference? He put the onus on Tom Brady. I don't think anybody's going to hold that against Tom Brady. This is largely media, largely with an axe to grind against Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that he has to be punished by gatekeepers
Is it unfortunate?
here.
Right.
Yeah, I do think it's unfortunate because I believe him to be the most successful coach in the history of the sport. And you want to say, like, what has he done without Tom Brady? He won 2 Super Bowls without Tom Brady as a defensive coordinator, as a pro coach under Bill Parcells, one of those with Jeff Hostetler. He has quite the friggin' resume, and it's BS that he's not first ballot.
These people are all capable of high school pettinesses, okay, no matter how old they are. Bill Polian is 83 years old. It's an age where you could forget if you voted for Bill Belichick.
Oh, for sure. No, you couldn't.
You're not 83 yet. 83, I found with my parents, who are both in that realm, you can absolutely, at 83, forget some very simple things with age.
Let me get this straight. The vote just happened. Okay, we're not asking Bill Polian to recall something from 5, 7, 8 years ago. The vote
a good
just
point.
happened.
I'm with my dad on
And
this.
you're
Really
telling
good
me
point.
Bill Polian can't recall.
He's pretty sure.
He shouldn't be voting then.
Have you watched a Trump press conference?
Also agree with that.
He shouldn't be voting. If he can't remember, if he can't go through a cognitive test of did you vote for Bill Belichick
let's
16
not do
minutes
cognitive
ago?
tests.
Jeremy, please. If you can't recall if you did something 16 minutes ago, you should not be.
I
voting.
agree.
He's 95% sure he voted for Belichick.
I'm 95% sure I had a hamburger for dinner last night.
I do believe that no matter your age, especially among men specifically, men with ego in sports even more so, you can be high school kind of petty into your 80s. And Jerry Jones, it's been reported, is keeping Bob Kraft out of the Hall of Fame. And I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Kraft, who made a 10-part documentary about how Bill Belichick wasn't responsible for all of those
You're really
championships.
boiling that 10-part docuseries down. I don't, there are some people out there that would push back on that being the takeaway.
On the 10-part
Yes.
series. You think Bill Belichick enjoyed how he was chronicled
No,
in the
look,
10-part series made by Kraft with Apple?
I did not see any of the 10 parts. I just know that there is a people that buck up against that notion.
I have heard of very few of them. Maybe they are at the Pro Football Network. It seems pretty obvious that was a hit job by Kraft because he had the means to do that to Belichick at a time we weren't soiling Belichick's legacy. Like, it was fairly shocking to watch the truth told that way, and it was clear that Kraft was responsible. But it's been reported Jerry Jones is keeping Bob Kraft out of the Hall of Fame. When the sleuths, the Pablo Torres of the world, go sniffing around, if it's not Polian, if it's not Kraft, then who? There's no
It
reason.
could still be Polian. Polian could still vote for Bill Belichick and also be a respected voice in the room saying, hey, just for your consideration, I don't want to be the only guy in the room that says this, but he did have the 2 cheating scandals, so do with that what you will.
By the way, we don't know the number, but there were at least 11 people who didn't vote Belichick. It wasn't like it needs to be unanimous and Polian's the only one. We don't know the actual number, but we know at least 11 people did not vote
And so,
Belichick.
is there any sane, reasonable human being without biases saying that makes sense? Is there any? Can you give me a person publicly putting their voice without biases who has their sanity still, saying that it makes sense in any world for Bill Belichick to not be a Hall of Famer? Can someone give me a name?
No.
So everyone who's saying ha 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 is somebody who is biased and they're just mad because they're from the AFC East.
And Jimmy Johnson is right. The voters who voted against Belichick owe it to the league, to fans, to name themselves, to raise their hand and say, yep, I'm one of them, and here's why. That's why all ballots in every sport, all Hall of Fame ballots, should be made public. It shouldn't be. Baseball leaves it up to the voter whether or not to make your ballot public. And by the way, the Halls of Fame should not be moral halls, and I hope you didn't suggest that I think that. If I thought that, I wouldn't vote. I wouldn't have voted for Barry
but I
Bonds
think,
and Roger
well,
Clemens
originally
every
you
year.
didn't, though, right? I don't think you
Yes,
have since the
okay.
beginning.
I didn't the first
Okay.
year I voted.
But you took a moral stand.
I
You
took-
did that.
Okay, it's because, as I've said many times, I put a distinction on whether you're a first ballot
You
Hall of
took a
Famer.
moral stand. It wasn't because they weren't first ballot Hall of Famers. It's because you penalized them for your morally thinking they were less deserving of first ballot, not because of their merit or numbers,
and then voted
because of
for
the
them.
morals.
And then voted for
yeah,
them.
but you just you changed your mind, but you said you've never done it, and you did do it the first time you got a vote.
Semantics.
It is semantic. I've explained this many times. The first ballot Hall of Famer is sacrosanct. Okay, I don't think Spygate is enough of a smudge to not vote for a guy who won six
Greg, that's
Super
what they
Bowls.
just did here.
I
They just
know.
did the same thing you did with your first vote of a Hall of Fame
I
ballot.
object to the. Let's look at them separately, not lump them together. I think there's no excuse, no reason plausible to not vote for Belichick on the first ballot. Okay, I don't have a Hall of Fame vote for Canton. If I did, I would have stood up. This would have been my entire speech on behalf of Bill Belichick's candidacy.
You just got it locked and loaded, ready to go?
He won 6 Super Bowls. Thank you. Good night. And then the vote takes place. Everybody raises their hands. It's 50-0.
Well,
that should have been what happened.
but on the other side, somebody on the other side of these aren't museums; these are moral palaces. Somebody on the other side would say, "I've got only one thing to say: he cheated many times."
Okay, you know what's going to happen, because a lot of voters do agree with me. You know he's going to make the Hall of Fame next year.
I don't know that.
In his second year of
The Andrew
eligibility,
Jones effect.
he will make the Hall of Fame. I don't think anybody would doubt that.
I doubt it. Look, I think everybody was shocked by this. So you say, if I had asked yesterday on the show, do you guys believe there's a 1% chance that Bill Belichick is not inducted into the Hall of Fame or nominated tomorrow? None of you would have said there was a 1% chance of that happening. And look, it just happened.
I might have raised my hand behind 1% because Spygate's a real thing. Okay, it's not enough for me to have not voted for him, but Spygate, it cost the team a first-round draft pick. The team was fined $500,000. Belichick personally was fined $250,000. Deflategate was not a big deal, in my opinion. Spygate was. So the question is, how big a deal was it?
Well, it had to have been a big deal. Deflategate. Brady got suspended multiple games. Like, it had to have been a big deal.
Okay, I'm speaking
Right.
about my opinion.
But if you take those seasons away, he still has a first ballot Hall of Fame resume, and it seems as though people just want to check Bill Belichick's ego, and I feel like he hasn't had his ego checked enough over these last 2 years.
more.
Like,
I know what we do here. We print out the ballot. That ballot that was voted on a few weeks ago with Belichick on it, we give it to my dad. He votes for who he would vote for, and at the end of the show, we see if he remembers.
Fine. I accept that challenge.
All right, let's do that. Put it on the poll. Ken, what was it, 2 weeks ago that the vote was? Ken,
Yes.
Put it on the poll at LeBatard Show. Can every 83-year-old be expected to remember how he or she voted 2 weeks ago? At LeBatard Show.
How did it get out? Because the guys who voted, the results are not supposed to come out yet, and the guys who voted were just finding out last night from whoever, I think it was Don Van Natta, right? Whoever came out with, or Seth Wickersham, who came out with the report that they didn't get in. Like, you could probably narrow it down to who had that information and leaked it, right?
Oh, but it's got to be shocking information. Like whoever's been holding on to that has probably known that they have this enormous bit of news since they've had it. Because I don't even know. I'm like Cody, of course. After you're staring at at the sea, and what emerges from the ocean is a spaceship that spits aliens at you. Cody's there to say, "Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. That I would have told you there was a 1% chance of that happening." Yeah. So he's here to tell you that Belichick, that he's not shocked by this. But no. I really don't feel like anybody was thinking that there was the possibility that Bill Belichick, under any circumstances, would not immediately be a Hall of Famer as soon as he qualified. Like I didn't think that today or this conversation was a reasonable possibility.
Okay, once again, you're putting words in my mouth. If I say I would have said yes to a 1% chance, what that means is I am 99% shocked. Okay, I am 99% shocked. When I'm saying there's a 1% chance, it's that it doesn't surprise me in the least that a Bill Polian, a Robert Kraft may have called in a few chips, a few favors.
With reporters, right?
Yes,
because it's mostly reporters.
mostly
It's not
reporters.
all reporters. It's 50 people.
Well, clearly you got Polian in there.
It's not. It's 50 people. I don't know. Just so that let me frame this correctly. It's mostly former NFL media reporters. It includes Tony Dungy and Bill Polian, but not every owner. So just so you know, it's 50 people. Largely, it's former reporters.
And that's a small electorate. The baseball electorate is like 450 people. When you only have 50 people, in my opinion, you're more subject to collusion among the voters.
Oh, but Greg, though, the thing that Zaz is saying about 11, that's insane to me.
It's a lot of people.
You need 80%, right?
It's 20%.
Yeah.
It's 20% of the people are sitting here telling you Bill Belichick's not a Hall of Famer.
At least that.
In
At
what
least.
in what world? First ballot, not a first ballot Hall of Famer. In what world?
And that to me says collusion. Listen, if you have 11 people who did not vote for a 6-time Super Bowl winner, that suggests collusion to me. That suggests that voters got together before the vote and said, you know what, let's keep him out. Here's what else is interesting to me in this. The vote is to be announced February 5th. The news leaks and there is outrage, and the Pro Football Hall of Fame looks embarrassed and should be. Will they take another vote on this? Will they announce Belichick February 5th as a Hall of Famer
What?
and then claim
Well, no.
then claim that the report was false? I think that's a
no,
possibility.
well,
A revoke completely?
You
I
think this?
that's a
Hanging
wa-
Chads?
I think
in Hall
that's
of
a
Fame?
possibility.
You think this is outrageous enough that they will do a cover up in order to?
Yes.
That's
A recall.
journalists.
I think
Fellow
there's a-
journalists.
I think there's a possibility. I'm not. I wouldn't predict it's going to happen. I wouldn't bet that it's going to happen.
1% possibility. You'd be 99% shocked.
I think there's a 5% possibility.
This is
Okay.
being revealed on February 5th. That's when it comes
Yep,
out.
mhm.
What an embarrassing day for the NFL. No one's going to be talking about that when everyone's talking about Giannis to the Heat. February 5th, that's the NBA trade
Thank you
deadline.
for finally bringing
one's gonna
basketball
care.
up. Jesus.
My